Welcome back to Wake Up America. Vaping, the subtle but super strength e-cigarettes, were once considered a safe alternative to tobacco. Now it is a multi-billion-dollar industry that have hooked nearly 3 million of our youth. For more, let's bring in internist, MD, VIP Dr. Frank Contacessa and the co-founder of Parents Against Vaping e-cigarettes, Meredith Berkman. Thank you both for joining us. Meredith, you got involved back in 2018 when a Juul rep came to your son's school without anyone's knowledge. I read that. I couldn't believe that. And this rep told the students that Juul was totally safe. Talk to us about your work against vaping.
Well, as you said, that moment in 2018 when my then 16-year-old son came home and described to me what he called a, quote, mixed message anti-addiction talk, in which a room of ninth grade students were told Juul was totally safe. That really electrified me and my co-founders, Dorian Furman and Dina Alessi. We began Googling late at night when all of our kids were asleep, and we were really horrified to discover not only the really predatory behavior of this company going after our kids on social media, on platforms where kids were, but adults were not. But we were terrified by the scope of the problem. And so looking to join what we hoped would be the Mothers Against Drunk Driving of vaping, but didn't yet exist, we decided we had to take action and fight to educate parents about this problem and to help change laws to get rid of flavored vapes and flavored tobacco products. And that's what we do around the country now.
Yeah, I remember seeing the boxes, and they looked like obviously appealing to kids and all of those flavors. Dr. Frank, Juul just settled a lawsuit for $28 million regarding claims that they marketed their products to minors. Talk to us about the effects vaping has on children, especially when they're developing, because I was just talking to my kids about it the other day, and they said, yeah, Mom, you'd be surprised how many kids still vape in school. But I don't know if kids really understand the risks. Talk to us more about that.
Good morning, Allison. Nice to be with you. This is an important topic, and you're right. I don't think a lot of kids do realize the dangers of this. And unfortunately, it was, put in front of us as a safe or safer alternative to smoking. And for some people, if they're trying to quit and we're using it as a smoking cessation tool, there is a place for it. But these companies went after kids. They don't realize that there's ingredients in the liquid that's burned. What these things do is burn a liquid, that there's other ingredients besides just nicotine. And the ingredients are there to thicken up the liquid so that it's easier to burn. And some of these chemicals, number one, can cause cancer in rates almost as high as tobacco. But it also has ingredients that cause inflammation and scarring to the lung tissue itself, in some cases irreversible. And I don't think people realize that this is not just water vapor. This isn't just some innocuous thing that you can do instead of smoking. Again, I use this successfully sometimes in people who I'm trying to get off of tobacco, because it may be somewhat better than actually smoking tobacco. But there are chemicals in here that can cause irreversible damage. And the problem is that there are tons and tons of kids. There are 2.5 million kids in this country who are vaping on a regular basis who never have smoked cigarettes otherwise.
Right.
So it's not people trying to quit. These are new nicotine addicts that never would have smoked otherwise. And so this organization that you're dealing with now and trying to get these things banned is doing good work, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Meredith, the FDA has cracked down on vaping over the last several years. But I just wonder if things have gotten better. Are kids learning about this in school? I guess what can maybe, sometimes, as you mentioned, it's up to the parents. It's not up to the school. So what are you hearing? What can parents do and say to their kids?
Well, first of all, as Dr. Frank just said, remember, this was a generation of youth who otherwise would not have initiated into tobacco use. The youth smoking rates in this country before the introduction of Juul on the market and the many copycats were the lowest they'd ever been. So this was avoidable. First, and again, as Dr. Frank said, we're focused on the flavors, because the flavors are what initiate the kids into use. What parents can do, and I think it's not just incumbent upon parents, but FDA needs to finalize the regulatory process. These products were out there for years without full regulation. FDA has not done enough, not fast enough. What parents must do is educate themselves about the issue, is understand what the products look like, what the dangers are, and how to speak to their kids. We have many resources on our website, parentsagainstVaping.org, that can teach parents what to look for, that can tell parents what signs to look for. If you have a child who all of a sudden, a great athlete, a great student, who seems to be having trouble breathing, who seems to be angry all the time, something that's different, or they've lost an enormous amount of weight, or they have a terrible cough, they may have a problem. And so you need to be able to explain to kids that, kids are using these products in school. What is it like when you go to the bathroom?
Right.
You hear kids are vaping in the bathroom. What is it like when you go to a party? Asking a kid,
Yeah.
do you vape, is not going to always get the right answer.
Yeah.
It's sort of asking them, what is it like when kids are vaping, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, you're so
partnering with them so they'll trust you and ask for help if they need it.
You're so right. Half the time you don't smell it too, so you don't know. Unlike cigarettes. Meredith Berkman, Dr. Frank Contacessa, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Al.
much.
Of course.